Presenting sponsor, Husker Game Recaps is Dingman's Collision Center. What sets Dingman's apart? They're locally owned and family operated. The roots run deep in Omaha. They've lived in Omaha and have pride in the Omaha community. They have been the trusted name in collision repair for almost 30 years. Built a reputation by doing things the right way and taking care of people one repair at a time, earning them to be voted first place in Best of Omaha for 20 straight years. That is an impressive streak, testament to how they do their job. 4 locations, 120th and Maple, 144th and Industrial Road, Midtown 50th and Saddle Creek, and downtown Papillion. Proud to be partnering with Dingman's Collision Repair, and big thanks for them to be sponsoring the Husker Game Recaps. And the Husker game we are going to recap with Bo Ruud. Final score, Nebraska falls at home to the USC Trojans, 21-17 in what was, I'll be honest, just real quick aside, because we got the YouTube comments were not kind to us. Like, oh, look at these old guys ripping on the alternate uniforms, blah, blah, blah. The blackout, everything looked really cool.
I would say the blackout is something worth looking to repeat. I think that, because we've done blackouts before, sort of.
Yes.
I've seen us be like, oh, we're going to do a blackout in this game. This looked like they like got to every person in the stadium, like, you're wearing black tonight, right? And everyone's like, confirmed.
Well, they get the black in, they get the black in zones.
Yes.
They came out to back in black.
Yes.
Like I will say this, like, this is where Nebraska's been good at this for forever. Their video and social media and how they do their presentation is just incredible.
Yeah.
So big salute to everybody on that. Because even like the shot going to break on NBC after Nebraska scores their first touchdown, the black balloons, that was another thing. The black balloons with the golden sunset behind the stadium. As a man that loves sunset, I was like, oh man, I love everything going on. And
there it is.
It's terrific. So it just was incredible.
Well,
the scene.
The jokes we were making is like, that shouldn't make you come here or not come here as a recruit. However, it doesn't hurt in the overall brand of Nebraska that we just have so many good things about our program, so much investment, and so many, so much, like, I don't even want to, you call it like depth in a fan base. We got all these different things that we'll
they can get behind.
And our fans are amazing, and you can't tell me that doesn't help.
I think like the Penn State whiteout is a thing.
Yes.
I would say, like, right now, if I walked into a 9 a.m. Sunday morning meeting with the whole department, they'd be like, show of hands, who thinks the blackout should be repeated? I would be like, agreed.
I think we found something. It truly felt like, especially like I didn't get to go to it, which would be fun. But the view from at home at TV, I was like, this is great. This
gorgeous.
Looked awesome.
Gorgeous.
The black balloons too. When we scored, I was like, I wasn't expecting that.
Neither was I. So, which ties us into like the first kind of just thing. I mean, we've launched every pod talking about this. Just another incredible opportunity squandered. That's more of like, that's the tale of the last like 20 plus years. Incredible atmosphere. We just went on the whole thing about the blackout. Crowd was roaring too. It felt like early. That is not a vintage great USC team. That team's okay. Like that team doesn't look like a playoff team. They're not great. I mean, by the way, that's not a vintage Michigan team either. So it's just unfortunate. Like when you look back on this season, you had 2 blue bloods in your house that were not as good as they've been in the past, and they both escaped with wins. But just let me keep going on the USC's quarterback, Jaden Mayava. He was struggling. Now,
I mean, we talked a little bit about him last week. We didn't think he was that great when we played him last year. I think he's leading the Big Ten in passing yards.
Yes.
But like, there's nothing about him that scares me.
I know, because USC was the number 1 passing offense in the country, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And, full disclosure, I mean, I've casually watched a handful of games of USC, watched a little of the Notre Dame game, a lot of their Illinois game. I might have been in Vegas, had bet Illinois in that game. But I've never been blown away by him. And now the one thing we have to do is tip your cap to Nebraska's pass defense.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the things you learned from last night was Nebraska's pass defense for real.
Yeah. I think
Marshall, so you're right. Like those guys are Rex Guthrie, Donovan Jones, like those guys are pretty good. But at the same time, Maihava was missing. He was having guys wide open, was missing them. He had 2 bonehead intentional groundings that were like, have you ever played before? Also, just Lincoln Riley was on the missed opportunity. Lincoln Riley had a weird night. Made some bizarre play calls going away from the run at times, especially getting inside the 10-yard line. I mean, you got a lead up 7-0. You got a lead up 14-6. At one point, you have the ball up 14-6 in the third quarter after an interception at the USC 34, and you yada, 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 you fall apart and lose a game. It just... Sure, we could start with like, how much are you going to go to the Dylan Raiola injury and the Pritchett injury and just kind of like just excuse everything for that? Like, it's a part of the conversation, which we will subsequently have, but 29 straight losses to ranked opponents. These opportunities don't come all that often, and it just felt like another game where you had a golden opportunity against a team that isn't great and they weren't playing great, and you still didn't win.
Yeah, I would say in the long term, there'll be nothing special remembered about it because it will fall into one of the 29, right? I think that's probably fair.
Agree.
But like in the moment, I think it's going to be part of the conversation is going to be the what if of it.
Yes.
But part of that conversation though we have to be honest is like Dylan's been sacked 20 however many times this year, which is like
26 or 27.
They showed the stat. Like Maiava's been sacked 3 times. To me, so that is part of the effect of the long term of, even though we might have been sacked only 1 time that game, maybe that was the sack. That was the sack. And the more times you get sacked, the more chances you get to get hurt, the more chances you get. So like that was the moment that Dylan's sack turned into an injury. Like, so if you get sacked 30 times in however many games, like there's a good chance you're going to get hurt. Yeah. And so this was the moment. So I don't want to dismiss this as a fluke because of our trend is we get sacked a lot, and this is what happens when you get sacked.
I love that. You're so good. That's such a good way to start like everything, because that's exactly right. That if you're playing with fire,
yes,
you just eventually, because frankly, I've been surprised throughout the year that it's been kind of amazing that he hasn't had a strip sack.
Yeah.
He had one against Cincinnati that he somehow got back, if I'm not mistaken, but like, and then not getting hurt. It just was like you at some point.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it happened. The other thing, okay, yeah, we can have the whole what if that we're having here. Does Nebraska win the game if Dylan Raiola stays in the game? Maybe. But I also then ask, what evidence do you really have to back that claim up?
The only evidence I have is Dylan's been good in the 4-minute and 2-minute drill. That's the only evidence I would say. I feel like if Dylan stays, I actually think we do win that game. But it's very unfortunate. We get that turnover in that moment, right? And I don't want to mess up the game plan.
We'll get to the
right. But Dylan misses the throw. I think the throw before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it 2 throws? I can't remember where he had Hunter and he underthrows
him
too much.
Yes.
He was supposed to underthrow it. I think we complete that. I think we go in and score, and I think the game is it's not over, but it is such a different.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't probably get hurt but you know what I mean? Like we didn't execute. And then, you said when you're playing with fire, which means you give up lots of sacks over a season, we were going to get burned.
Eventually probably going to turn it over, and eventually going to get hurt. And that's what happened. The other thing, last thing on just kind of like the what if part of it is of the injury things. Like I get an injury to a quarterback is so much different than an injury to anyone else. At the same time, injuries are a part of football. They just are. USC was on their 3rd running back. USC was down at least 1 starting guard. They might have been down their 2 starting guards. So I don't know. I'm not as eager, because there's some people that go like, well, come on, man. I mean, Dylan gets hurt with 12 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and Pritchett gets hurt on the next drive. They're like, and I'm like, I think
you can still win. You can still win a game with a backup quarterback. That's normal. That's actually throughout. I mean, Frazier, Behringer, right? Like you're supposed to have another guy that can win you a game. That's the point of having like depth
or Bo, at the very least, come in and not have your offense just completely become a shell of itself.
So I would say Latif had a couple of moments in his first, few snaps this year against Akron and some of these, like
Houston Christian.
Houston Christian. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I heard rumblings of like, we should be playing this guy over.
There was a section.
And I'm going to at the time I was going, you got to be kidding me. But this is what a freshman with no experience
looks like in a real game.
It's scary. Like he looked like that was a deer and like ball in the wrong arm. You like
first time he runs, that USC guy was tracking that ball too. He's like, okay, we're just going to go ahead and punch that ball out. I mean, he looked
and he dropped back in the pocket. It'd be 1,000 run. Right. Like it's pretty much
so
and that's where he's at. And you got to feel for the guy. Like he hasn't gotten a ton of snaps because Dylan, like, obviously is like in the game every game, but like, he wasn't thinking he was needing to play this.
No,
game.
I think this is maybe like the quarterback in me. And again, I was a high school quarterback, and I get it. Everybody rolls her at but it just my frame of reference. I always took great pride in if I'm in there, things are going to run clean.
Yeah.
I'm going to be clean. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to break the huddle on time. We're going to be organized. And at the very least, I'm going to cleanly handle the ball and be clean.
Yeah.
One of the things that annoyed me is I thought the whole operation just looked sloppy. From the moment Latif came in, I thought everybody looked disjointed, sloppy, and I always feel like as that's on the quarterback a little bit. But a part of it is also just like it's a lesson to where like you need to always be getting those guys ready to go. And I'm not saying they weren't, but at the same time, man, that was unfortunate.
But this is where I think people are so used to, like, I don't know. The history of backup quarterbacks are usually like you got like a senior who's your starter and then a junior or another senior who's your backup. Like this guy's 18 is he 19? He's 18 or 19 years old.
He's a true freshman.
He's a true freshman who's been in college for all of, I don't know, 8-9 months
from
right now.
LA, by the way. So there's a little bit of like, I mean, he's in middle America now, probably a little bit of culture shock, homesick, all that. And he's 18.
I just know like it usually takes 2 or 3 years before you're really ready to play unless you're, off the charts. And at quarterback, I think the guys that can come in and play quarterback as true freshmen, like you are seriously good. But, he just hasn't had the reps with the ones to be ready. Like he's not getting those reps.
No, I agree.
And so like it is, I feel for the guy that like you're expecting him to be,
come in and light the world on fire, which is probably
we don't have any depth there. Like we didn't, who do we got at quarterback besides Dylan, right?
No,
it's
I mean
him.
the next guy is Jalen Gramstad, who's an NAIA transfer. I mean, like that's a problem.
But I would expect if that guy would have got in, he would have he's had more college.
At least there wouldn't have been the deer in the headlights kind of maybe look to it was. But in all fairness to TJ Latif, like that's that's a brutal night game blackout. Top 25 team, biggest game of the season, biggest November game in a really, really long time. Here you go, kid.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And oh, by the way, your tackles are all hurt too.
Your tackles are hurt. I mean, that's the other elephant in the room on this. It was like, you got to do that with an offensive line that we were game planning around essentially. So it's you throw in the backup quarterback, you add one more wrinkle of like, well, what can we do now?
Yes.
What do we feel good about doing? And the play sheet has shrunk to like,
well, it already shrunk because of the offensive line.
Yes.
And now it's shrunk to where you didn't have much.
Yes.
So, okay, I told you as we walked in to record, I usually kind of like to do like, all right, let's talk about the big plays and sequences of the game. I found myself like, so I going through it. I'm like, and when I finished it, I'm like, you just went through the whole game. So I'll try our best to move here.
But this usually means it's a good, for us, we usually know that's a good game is when you do those.
And I think like we can sit here and, I mean, a part of like the game recap is to recap the game. Like we can just toss everything aside and just go big picture, but I kind of like to at least, get into it. Okay. So I thought the start of the game was another missed opportunity in that USC, first of all, USC wins the toss, takes the ball. Mm-hmm. Like, let's be honest, in like the world of like machismo, like that's a little bit of like a direct challenge to the defense. Like, stop us. Well, they did. 3 and out right away, looked good. Nebraska offensively, as Holgorsen has always typically been, 14 plays, 75-yard drive, perfect on third down, obviously. Emmett Johnson ran really hard. You get the touchdown fade to Key, 7-0 to Black Balloons are rolling, okay?
Yeah.
Here comes USC. They force another 3-and-out.
Yep.
So the vaunted number one offense in the country comes in, back-to-back 3-and-outs. Oh, by the way, a bad punt. Nebraska has the ball at the USC 39 on their second drive. I'm curious what you felt about this sequence. It was a 3-and-out, and it felt, maybe this speaks to the limited nature of of everything. It was 2 runs to Emmett Johnson up the middle. They got to a 3rd and 7, and they ran Dillon and then punted.
Yeah.
It just kind of felt like, okay, I'm not saying you dial up a 7-step drop that doesn't but it just felt like.
I wasn't upset at it. Here's why. I felt like we talk for weeks about we've got to protect Dillon. We've got I think the mindset had to shift across everybody, including Holgorsen. We've got to impose a style of play on the other team. We've got to sort of get our footings and get this thing going by not putting Dillon at risk, which I think that's part of it. Part of it is early. We're going to take no chances, and we're going to run the ball, and we're going to slow their pass rush down. I actually am fine with it. I don't love that we couldn't execute and couldn't do it, but I'm not against the fact that we ran it 3 times.
Okay.
Or something. I think that's a part of that is the limiting factor where our O-line is, that we have to call things a little different. And I'm okay with them doing that. It's just too bad they couldn't execute, right?
Well, I think it's telling. And maybe it's just having to fully come to grips with that. Because as I'm watching it, I'm like, wow, that was a pretty, very 2009 Nebraska-esque kind of approach to things.
Correct. I agree it was. But I was okay with it in the moment because I think, like I said, my thought was, I think we need to do a better job of, depending on the game, we're going to play a little bit different. But we need to impose our will in the sense of you're going to play our game. Just like Minnesota and Iowa does to us every year, right?
That's kind of how Nebraska's trying to play now. They're trying to slow the game down, control the ball.
When they're better and more explosive, you need to. So I actually was impressed that we, in that first half, those first drives, we were intentional about imposing our will, and we made them play our game, which I think they did, which is a win for us.
Okay.
Now, we didn't win the game, but I felt like they played our game. So that's a big picture thought, but I just think it's I think that general conversation is interesting, where we've talked about what did Nebraska learn from that Minnesota game. I think the biggest thing they learned was kind of what we're talking about here, where Dana Holgorsen is calling plays with training wheels on a little bit here. Yep.
He can't really fully let it loose. Clearly, I mean, that's just to go 3-and-out with a 3rd and 8 run to Dillon. And then, so let me keep going here. Nebraska, USC gets the ball back. And this is where USC goes, okay, should we now run our counter play a lot? Okay. Well, but the counterplay. So this was the drive that was if this was on an alternate universe, we're doing the Trojan game recap, you'd just be crushing Lincoln Riley for this. So Lincoln Riley, they had runs of 10 yards, 13 yards, 15 yards, and 16 yards.
Yep.
They get all the way down to the 6-yard line and then throw it 3 times.
Yeah.
Which is thank you.
Yep.
I mean, it felt like they just could have kept. I know counter maybe in the goal around the goal line's a little bit harder.
Sure.
But nevertheless, by the way, this was the drive where it was 4th and goal at the 2. USC lined up to go for it. False start, backs them up. Now they got to kick a field goal.
Yeah, they were a little undisciplined in a few areas of their team that I think played right into our hands.
Totally.
Like you say, it made this more of an opportunistic game that they just weren't. I didn't think they were sharp.
So here's another conservative moment for Dana Holgorsen. So Nebraska holds them to 3. It's 7-3. Next drive for Nebraska, 5 plays and a punt. And again, on 3rd and 10, they just handed the ball up the middle and punted.
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like,
Nick, I think I'm hearing Dana loud and clear. It's like the message got through to him that he goes, I can't do what I want to do. I'm going to do what I think we need to do. And what we need to do is play a style of football that's going to give us a chance, the best chance to win the game.
Going to ride Emmett and and protect Dillon.
Early, especially early, because you keep their defensive line from getting off, from getting attacking Dillon. So I'm okay with it. It's a little boring, and
it's just I think it's good to say these things out loud.
I know. I just even just saying them out loud. You're like, okay, it makes a little bit more sense on why it's like, yeah, that's pretty boring,
pretty safe, pretty conservative, pretty telling into what the whole operation views the offensive line.
Yes.
And what's weird is they're able to block and give Emmett opportunities to run. They just cannot protect Dillon.
Yeah, I would say they can block the run well at times. I think even their run game, they're not consistent. I mean, I just kept seeing the consistency across the board at every position. I mean, obviously the tackle position has been the biggest issue, but even our guards. Evans maybe is the guy that I feel like has been the most consistent.
I just feel like you don't notice him, which I think is I feel like Justin Evans, you never notice him.
I think that's a great sign, first of all. But even our guards, they take turn. I think Spindler's been better, but I feel like they both were missing. They were missing pass offs. They were just, Latovsky was holding a lot.
Well,
it's just, I feel like we're just not consistent at that position.
I will say, much like Amir used to do, Emmett is making 6-yard gains in situations that are like a stuff play.
Yeah.
So, he is Emmett Johnson balling right now.
Yeah.
So, a little conservative again. Next USC drive, they're kind of hammering it down the field. And then Jada Mayava, who must have been was he at the rail getting hammered because you have Shavers does a Bo Ruud and kind of times things up the middle and gets to Mayava, and Mayava has an intentional grounding that kind of blows up their drive where they end up having to settle for a 47-yard field goal or whatever. But by the way, listening, NBC's rules analyst came on and tried to say that he actually didn't think that was intentional grounding because the running back was right there.
He even saw that running back. See, here's the thing. I'm like one of those guys, on the field, he didn't even see. He was just chucking it down. Every time he got sacked, he basically was going to throw it at the ground or throw it away.
One time he tried to fumble it out of.
I'm just one of those guys. I don't buy
I don't either, for the record. So
you better be targeting a receiver that is legitimately you're looking at. You can't just fling the ball and hope someone's there.
Remember, snaps, fireworks snaps?
Yeah.
He took the football and it was a snap. He threw it into the ground. Sure, the running back was right there and Shavers was on it, but it was intentional grounding.
The running back was blocking behind him. And he just I just don't buy it.
I don't either. But so now it's another job where the defense at least holds them to 3.
Yeah.
A little bit of USC's doing. You gotta tip your cap to Nebraska's defense, but some of this is Lincoln Riley just dude. At one point, I texted my brother and I said, if USC didn't pass for the rest of the game, would they win? It felt like if they would have just ran counter, they just Nebraska wouldn't have been able to stop them. But it's 7-6, and then Nebraska has a great drive to end the half. They get a 3rd and 7 to Dane Key on a crosser where Dillon steps up and makes a great throw. They overcome a Latovsky holding penalty, which typically has been a drive killer. The 3rd and 10, they roll Dillon right, take a shot down the field to Dane Key and get a defensive pass interference.
Because 25 for USC, I'll give him credit. That guy was battling all day. He won most of those battles, but he finally got caught. That was the one he got caught on. But he literally was in our guys' faces all game. I would say that was a big issue with the passing game was they were smart saying we are going to smother your receivers and you're going to have to beat us over the top. And most of the time over the top, we couldn't win.
Right.
We couldn't execute. So we missed on a lot of them. That one we won, and Dane Key on the touchdown.
On the touchdown.
He won. they were on us.
That was a great throw from Dylan. Like, I know sometimes just like on the one you pointed out a little bit ago in the second half, like to get those defensive pass interferences, the ball's got to be thrown to the right spot, or it's just got to be a really good throw. Yeah. I just thought it was like, damn, that's a fucking good throw from Dylan. So the ball gets down to the 10. Emmett Johnson punches that mother trucker in. It's 14-6. To end the half, straight from Moscow, Kate Petschak. Kate Petschak.
Is this mic on?
Want this deal with my Ava and intentional grounding? I'm like, get real, sir. You'll not really
Have you
throw
seen those snaps from 4th of July America?
Everybody talking blackout in Moscow this typical beautiful day here with all the dark.
We love all the black.
But Kate Petschak did a good job smothering Maeva out on kind of it was a kind of a sprint out to the left side towards the sideline, and Maeva again, like, I don't know what he was doing, but a good way to cap off the end of the half. So it is 14-6 at halftime.
I thought it was the best half of football I think we've probably played against like a good team. And I say it going back to like, we imposed the game we wanted to play on them. And we did it. Like, that's what we wanted to do. We did it. That's a half of football against a good team where we beat them in every aspect of the game. We beat USC for a half. The question is, can we do it for 2 halves?
Well, here's the thing too, along those lines. I mean, I think the other way I like to put it is like, play the game on your terms, which typically means not allowing the other team to play the game on the terms that they want to play.
Yeah.
So, question to you, and I was going to save it for the end, but I think we're kind of getting to it. Did Nebraska sacrifice some rushing defense to kind of sell out to pass defense?
Yeah. So I actually, that's one of the big thoughts I have. Like, sometimes, like, I feel like analysts rarely make a point that I'm like, you got that so right. Todd Blackledge said this.
Yeah.
And I go, that's exactly right. He said essentially, like, the difference between college and the NFL is this. In the NFL, you shut down the pass and you try to slow the run.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, but usually in college, it's the opposite. You got to stop the run, sell out to stop the run, and then slow down the passing game. And Butler is kind of a pro style where he is a little bit more of you shut down the pass game. And I think this game is maybe the ultimate example of, he was playing like cloud corners. So cloud corners mean we don't have the extra guy in the box. We are saying we're going to stop the run with 6 or 7 in the box, like not 8 in the box, right? So we're getting the counter run on us like all day, but we weren't bringing an extra guy down. They had an extra guy a lot of the time. We weren't fitting. First of all, we weren't fitting great on it, but they were also sometimes getting the extra guy with the pull. And it was an example of it's more philosophy than I think people may give it credit. Where, like, if you're in a pass, like a stop the pass, like a cover 2 or something, that, like, the right call for the offense is run. So good job by Lincoln Riley of running in those moments. But the idea is like, okay, you're not going to be like as stout, but you should stop them for a couple. And over time, you get closer to the goal line. Then
it gets
your
harder.
Pass game, your pass defense, it's easier to do that. It's easier to come up on the run. So it's like, that's how they do it in the NFL. It's like, it's harder to score when you get into the red zone. And it was sort of played out that way. I don't like giving up that many yards.
Yeah, there's a line there.
There's a line.
Yeah,
right?
like,
so
okay,
the line
let's stop the run a little bit here.
Half the amount of rush yards that they did.
Yeah.
But like, other than a couple deep balls, we pretty much shut out their pass game. I mean,
they averaged 42 points per game. They scored 21. They had 6 at half. And they clearly are a team that can run, but they kind of want to throw.
Correct.
And they just made it hard.
We made them do something that they didn't want to do as much. Like I said, we could have defended the run better.
Yes,
so don't think that our philosophy is to give up runs. Like, we want to stop the run, but when you don't bring that extra guy down, what you're saying philosophy is like, we've got to cover this way.
You can't give up no plan is like, we're going to give up 200 yards rushing. We're going to give up the starting running back's going to get 7 yards of carry.
No
plan works like that.
And it's not all or nothing. It's not like it's a cat and mouse game. So when Butler is either showing like more like cover 2 or pass coverage sometimes. And then he's bringing an extra guy down or, and they're switching coverages. The idea is to keep them confused. And when they're running, you do get the extra guy down. And when they're passing, you do get. So it's a cat and mouse game. It's not all or nothing. It's play by play. And what I think you found is like they were like more of the time, though, we were saying, we're going to make you run. And they were running it. So like it was good on them. But like in the end, I'd say it's good on us overall. We sort of did a pretty good job of limiting them on what they do best and points. Like if you said we would hold them to 21
points, I'd have been like, oh my gosh,
with a chance to probably do a lot. We could have held them to less.
So there were some good things with that, with the defense there. I mean, there's some, I mean, the problem is this team has shown that they struggle to stop the run to begin with. So it's not like they've shown, hey man, if we want to stop the run, we can. It's like, that's not really true
exactly.
either. But I think clearly, as we're talking about like playing the game on their terms, imposing your will, I do think that there was a little bit of that happening with the way Butler was approaching this from a plan.
Yeah, it felt like for the most part, we were pretty dialed in on what we wanted to take away. We just didn't do a great job against that counterplay. I mean, truly, we just did not. Like they ran that counterplay really well.
What's hard? Help real quick, and then we'll get to the third quarter and everything else. But like, what as a linebacker, what wasn't happening?
Well,
stop that counter.
You got a couple. I mean, there's different ways to defend these things. So only the guys in the room know. Here's our gaps. How we're either spilling it, which means you go under and kick things out, or you go on the outside and you got to keep a hard edge, right? And so sometimes the end's going to chase down the back.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the end's got the quarterback. You can trade it off, right? Mm-hmm. And it just depends. So I don't know what, you don't know the calls, but when they're pulling those two guys, somebody's got to go take it out hard one way or another. And I feel like we were kind of doing soft edges, and then they were, and we were,
they were
getting the bodies on
neither.
They were kind of not doing either hard enough.
Right.
And I think you got to spill it out in my book. I like it when you spill it out and you make them bounce it, because a lot of times you have a cloud corner.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see like Andrew Marshall on his interception? He was in a cloud, like he was playing run and flat to back, and he dropped back to get the interception.
Right.
But watching my brother when he was at Tampa, Tampa too. You got to be so detailed to stop the run in a cover 2 scenario, because those corners like the Rondé Barbers, they got to be really good coming up on force on the run. But then it's that weird world of where do you spill, where it's
you're right. A lot
detailed.
of their long runs, though, to your point, in the counters were in the middle of the field.
Yes.
They would get. So it seemed like that's what, at least that's what they were given. There was very few times where the ball got bounced and spilled to the sideline. But okay, third quarter, ready? That was a long, very long. This is good.
But we got some big thoughts.
We got big thoughts going there. Little bit of a little fear in old Kenneth Williams. Opening kickoff of the second half, they kicked that mug out of bounds. Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's some people that are like, I mean, I know for me, like, I've officially hit the point.
I want him taking the ball.
Oh, yeah. Well, even did you the one late? He went back like 7 yards deep, and you could tell he wanted to, like, I want to take it, but I can't take it 7
But
deep.
He's doing very differently than, God, the last 10 years, we've had such bad special teams and such bad kick return game.
Yes.
I would say most of the time when we take it out, we wouldn't get like to the 20. I feel like he's averaging getting past the 25.
Yes.
So I am increasingly want him to take it out every time.
Agree.
Because he's showing me that even when he doesn't bust one, he's getting past the 25-yard line more times than not.
Agree.
So he's earning a lot of trust.
Agree. But it goes, so they kick it out of bounds. So Nebraska is going to start the second half with great field position at the 35, and they go 3-0. Unfortunate.
Yep.
They get to 3rd and short, 3rd and 2, and Emmett got stuffed. Here comes USC's first play. Cloud corner. Jaden Mayava just adds to his drunk performance up until this point. Horrendous throw. Marshall just drops right back into it. Interception. Marshall tackled. Now, Nebraska has the ball up 14-6 at the USC 34. If we've been burned so many times, but right now you are able to like hit pause in real time. I'm like, Nebraska is going to win this game. It just felt like
I felt we were ready to turn the corner.
So did I because in large part because I just felt like USC, I was like, they are not. Mayava felt like he was having a horrible night.
They were not that good.
They were not that good. They do pick up a first down. They get it to 1st and 10 at the 23. Here's what's amazing about this play. They run a little play action. They max protect.
That's what I have it in my notes that we got to be real. Like we can say, they max protected and they still got sacked.
They still got to him. They still get to him. Dylan Raiola, sack, fumble, hurt. And in one play, everything changes. It really felt like on the replay. Now we'll see what ends up happening with Dylan. Man, the replay, I thought, oh my God, did he break his ankle? Did he tear his knee? I mean, it looked bad.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm not sure if you listened to Rule after the game. Dylan was saying he wanted to go back in the game, but the trainers were saying he can't run. So obviously he couldn't go back in the game.
That's a tough one. I mean, Dylan, not that he runs much anyway, but you just got to be able to you got to be able to escape the pocket. You got to be able to step up and make, there's a part of me that would have liked to see what that game looked like if Dylan's in there, at least being able to drop back and
or just you can, because he does a lot of stuff out of the shotgun anyway. So it's not like he's having to take a snap under center and get to a stretch play to Emmett quickly.
Was it his left ankle?
It was his
right ankle.
Right ankle.
Worse, probably.
I think his right ankle.
Because that right is you're gonna step off of. You're gonna plant.
Yes. It's both bad, but I felt like given the situation, you're all in on this game. The fact that he couldn't come back in to me is pretty telling that he probably couldn't have done it.
Oh, I mean, I would say this is the difference between now and 10 years ago that this is where we'll see if Dylan sits out the next game, he definitely probably couldn't go in. But if he plays the next game, this might be the difference between now and 10 years ago where you're like, you're not going to win a national title this year. So,
yeah, I don't know.
Don't risk getting your star guy hurt anymore. And I think 10 years ago, if he could play next week, he would have gone back in.
Maybe.
Or tried.
Yeah.
And I don't fault him for not going either way because
I think he's like, at least according to Rule, Dylan wanted to go back in, but it was the trainers that would say no. And so that puts Rule in a really weird spot where he was saying, listen, the trainers are saying he can't go. I didn't feel like it was the right thing to do to put a guy out there that can't protect himself. That was his line, which I get it.
And if some guys say they want to go and they can't even walk and you go, okay, man, it's all right.
Right.
But if he can we'll see. We'll see if he plays next week. Because if he plays next week, then it's like it was more. I think it's just the mindset is you see it in the NBA. You just don't take risks like that anymore.
No,
for your long-term guys, and that's just a different mindset.
Maybe he needed to. Did they know they needed to go Isaiah Thomas, Game 6, 88 finals where Isaiah gutted it.
Gimped around.
Isaiah gimped that mother. Ow.
That's what I'm saying. He hit those shots, though. I mean, can Dylan hit the shots? Part of me thinks Dylan can hit the shots. Remember he had that falling down.
If there's anybody that could have done it, without able to step into anything and
I actually think for him, he would play just as good because he's one of those guys. I feel like once you get the garbages out of his head, he's just he's got accuracy.
Right. Well, I mean, this it's interesting. I thought you would have been like, I can't play, so he can't play. But it's unique. I mean, he was standing on the sidelines. It was, I don't know. We'll learn more tomorrow from Rule
It looks good in the sense that it's not like a season-ending.
That's
injury.
what I was nervous about.
I mean, I've tore my ankle. I've done similar.
Did yours go out or were you? Because his looked like it went.
Mine went out too. Your knee goes in and your ankle goes out. And I ripped up I tore my ankle ligaments. Yes. Yeah. And your knee kind of gets hurt too. Yeah. But I mean, mine was not good. I mean, I couldn't walk for for weeks, like 10 weeks, re-injured it, and there was another like 15, 16 weeks after that. So it was not fun.
No.
So
we'll
it just
see.
depends on the severity, though.
Right.
Like, did he tear it or did he sprain it? Right. I think that's another story.
So Nebraska fumbles, USC recovers it. USC's next drive, Nebraska gets a stop. They get to 3rd and 1. They run a quarterback sneak and convert it, but a false start. It looked like the center might have been the one. It was a weird play.
Did it again.
But then they eventually get it to 4th and 2, and Nebraska stuffs them. Was it Shavers? Someone came in and like knifed through there on a 4th down stop. I think it was Shavers. I can't remember who it was now, but it was a hell of a play.
Yeah.
So it goes to show you like some good that like Nebraska stopped USC right away. So then now here comes really I can't believe we're 40 minutes in and we haven't got to probably the biggest talking point of the game. Here comes the drive that kind of everything here is like the game completely flips. TJ Lateef comes in. Pritchett gets hurt right away.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sequence where there was look like a little extracurriculars after a play. Rule wanted a penalty on USC. There's no call. Rule loses his mind on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're at the mercy of what the TV is showing, but Rule is going crazy, and then they go to the field, and Nebraska has to call their first timeout. Wow. The play clock looked like it was going to expire, and it was going to be a delay of game.
Yeah.
I just felt like everybody kind of lost their poise for a moment.
No doubt.
I mean,
you couldn't get the freaking call in then, it's like,
especially with with when you have a backup quarter. I mean, this is your freshman quarterback is in. Everybody needed to keep things as calm as possible for Lateef.
Yeah. I didn't really think about that in the moment, but that is very much.
I texted Alex and go, lost poise bad there.
Yeah.
Like I thought everybody needed it. I thought Rule lost it there. You then have to burn a timeout, which then here comes another moment where you are this is one thing. One of the criticisms of Rule is his in-game management with timeouts and decisions.
Yeah.
I feel like more often than not, he just makes the wrong decision. And it's easy to say after the fact, but let's get into it. They get to 4th and 1 at the 35-yard line. Heinrich Harburg comes in and gets under center. I guess clearly the plan was to try to draw him off sides.
But you got to be ready to take the delay of game then, right? Like you can't call that play
with knowing you're going to call timeout and then kick a field goal.
Yeah, to me, what's the point? Like if you're going to kick the field goal,
go kick the field goal.
You got to kick the field goal. You got to be ready to go for it.
That's to me
in that moment.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, that's what this is what it needs to be. You are either going to try and draw him off sides, take the delay of game and punt it.
Yes.
Okay. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is you're just going to kick the field goal. Okay.
Yes.
Or option number 3 is you're going for it. But what you can't do is get caught in between all 3 of those worlds.
It's like they didn't think like, oh, we're not far enough along in the game where timeouts aren't going to matter. Like you're not up by enough. You've got to save your timeouts.
Yes, especially because you had just called a stupid ass timeout.
So use 2 wasted timeouts in a tight ball game. And like it was a
bad sequence.
It was a terrible sequence of time, man. Because those timeouts are, the value of them is what? Well, in a game where you're way up, they don't matter. Burn them. Save yourself a penalty. Save yourself whatever.
In a game like this,
as the game is closer, as you're tied or down, the value of them goes up. And we were right in that for like they were valuable.
And let me add to this, because it's a tight game and all those things, and you have a freshman quarterback.
Yeah.
So you are going to need those timeouts. So I just thought this was a bad sequence for Matt Rule.
Yep.
They elect to call the timeout. They then trot the field goal team out there to try a 52-yard field goal on a cold November night in Lincoln. The field goal doesn't even get to the crossbar.
Yeah.
Here's what I like. We can now enter into the conversation of what would you have done? I want to start with just like what I don't kind of understand about Rule sometimes is he's typically been the go for it coach. This is the same coach that went for it on the opening drive against Michigan at 4th and 2 from the 6. So I asked, what's more likely, converting 4th and 2 against Michigan's defensive line, or making a 52-yard field goal on a cold night in Lincoln, where, by the way, Emmett Johnson had already racked up 100 yards rushing? Like, I don't, it just, to me, there's inconsistencies. And I get you probably can't have a blanket rule on like, I always am going to go for it, or I got to feel things out. But it just feels like sometimes for a guy that more often than not has tried to be a go for it guy, this felt very odd to me.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the option of
what would you have wanted to do?
Try to get the offsides, take the delay, and punt it. That wasn't even on the cards. But
is that the one?
I just don't know with Cunanan. He's made 52-yarders.
He's
before.
made one. Yeah.
So I had enough confidence in him that I felt like he could make it. So I just don't know in the cold what because he wasn't even, it seemed like he was way short.
Oh, he was.
So I don't know if that's just from the cold or if he missed it. So if that's just from the cold, maybe we should have punted or gone for it. But it'd make a hard choice. You're doing it.
That's right. I guess I'm of all the three, what we're saying, hard count, delay a game, punt. I'm either that or go for it.
So I think that's if the weather, because if the weather shouldn't have messed up how far he could kick it, I don't mind it. But let's say the weather is a problem, then it's like I'd probably say punt it.
Yeah,
with the backup QB in, because I just Nick, our short yardage game right now, I don't think it's very good. I don't think Emmett is good when it's a true short yardage. Like he's not a big guy. I don't think we block it well. Harburg has not been effective when
there's not been one positive play with him in a quarterback.
I think our best plays when we actually try to 4th and 2 do like a quick out, seemingly those have been our best type of plays. But I don't feel great about our short yardage game, and I don't know. I was liking our conservative nature. I thought we should have tried to pin him.
It was a bad,
make him go 95 yards or something.
It's amazing how in a sequence of like 7 plays the game flips, because the sequence is brutal. You don't get points. You burned 2 timeouts from lack of just organization and being on top of things. You give USC good field position at the 35, and 5 plays later, they score and tie the game. Yeah. And all of a sudden, this is where you got to tip your cap to Lincoln Riley. They break out something they haven't really broke out the whole game. They've been running counter, and then twice Mayava pulls it, and he gets back-to-back 16-yard runs and one for a touchdown. And then they get the 2-point conversion, and all of a sudden, it's 14-14.
Yeah, they did a good job. I mean, Riley's he's a really good play caller. He's always been. His offenses always get yards. I feel like we had guys there, though. Like, we just didn't execute on those QB keeps. Like, a few different times I said, like, we just had guys. Like, they just didn't do their job.
I agree.
They're peaking, right? They're peaking. So, unfortunate, but I think it's – there's always, like, a cause and effect. The offense sort of stalling out or not – punting changes the mindset. That's the one thing I like. When you move the field farther, it's way harder to go 90 or 95 yards versus like, oh, we're on the 40, or we're on the 35, right? Like you just feel like you're out and you can be a little bit more aggressive. So not converting a field goal or punting it, I think gave them confidence offense. Like let's turn this thing loose right now. Versus like you pin them. Maybe they got to get conservative for a handful of plays.
Right.
Good for us. Right. So this is the strategy. I think you said rules caught between Mr. Aggressive and Mr. Conservative. It's hard to know what that line is.
Right.
We had the lead backup quarterback. I think maybe I default. If I got
you're a conservative.
If I got Dylan, I maybe go for it. With Latif in there, and I don't feel like our short yardage game is good, I would maybe have been conservative in that moment. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's like
I don't in
the moment. What are you feeling? But like, look with the advantage of hindsight, I say, well, we should have punted it, right? So
or should have gone for it. Like the event of because you maybe could have gotten it, but like I don't. What's weird is I don't usually come in here and I'm like I have a really strong stance on what they should have done. I don't necessarily have a super strong stance on what they should have done. But what I do have a super strong stance on is they should have had a super strong stance on what they should have done, where you botched that whole situation of, like, have like, these are the things that I feel like the Flecks of the world, the Ferences of the world, these guys have these situations down. Like, they know exactly what they're doing here. They're going for it. They're not. They're this. They're that. And
because what yard line? Because that's where
35.
It's that's where it's weird to punt from the 35. So you should almost take delay.
What's I'm saying? If you're going to try to, but that's what's so weird to try to draw them off sides, then burn your second timeout. It was a weird sequence. And so,
yeah, I think you're in, it's tough. So I'm talking myself into taking the delay and punting it, but I don't know. I mean, in the moment I thought Cunnan's going to make it. So it all comes down to me. If Cunanan like truly should be making that field goal, like the distance is not a problem. I actually think the kicking the field goal is fine, but you should just trot him out there and kick the football.
Agree. Next drive for Nebraska, pretty amazing here, ends in a field goal. Couple things with this. Shouts out to idiot defensive backs, because USC got one of their defensive backs got an unsportsmanlike taunting penalty that kept the drive alive for Nebraska. It was exact. It felt like eerily reminiscent to what happened in the Michigan game. If you remember right, It felt like Nebraska was on the ropes and a Michigan guy taunted the sideline, kept Nebraska on the field, and it changed everything. Because I'm trying to go to where what had happened. There was a huge, they run first and 10 or first and 10 at the 45. They run a backside wide receiver screen to Barney that gets blown up and lost 5 yards. Like, it felt like everything was falling apart. And that's where they get the unsportsmanlike conduct taunting penalty, 15 yards. Instead of 2nd and 15 at the Nebraska 40, it's 1st and 10 at the USC 45.
Yeah.
Huge play. Emmett Johnson gets a big run on 2nd and 8 where Lindenmeyer gets to the second level and just fucking rocks a guy. And this is where a 1st and 10 at the 21. I'm not sure if you've seen the play. Lateef drops the shotgun snap.
Yeah.
They have a tunnel screen set up for Barney where he is going to walk in the end zone.
No.
I mean, it is, you need to, when we're done here, you need to watch it. It is.
Oh my gosh.
It is the perfect play call for what USC was doing, and he drops the snap, and Barney was going to walk in. So then Cunanan has to settle for a 39-yard field goal. So now Nebraska's up. It's hard to remember, like, think about this, but like, it's up. Nebraska led 17-14. So it's
in the fourth quarter.
For all these people that go like, oh, come on, Dylan got hurt. What do you expect? It's like, well, they led 17-14 with 12 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, and but until we can make those plays that are out there that we just never want to make in the big games, like we will not turn the corner with Dylan or without Dylan, right? Like, you've got to turn that corner by, like, when the moments are there, you got to take them. And I just feel like we just haven't gotten quite there. We're getting closer. I know we
won some of these games with Dylan, but against talking these big games, like these. Now they're all big, but I think we know what we mean by this. Like, ranked team, tons on the line here.
We're just not quite there. Like, we're just not. Like, with Dylan, without Dylan, we're still not quite there. Dylan does give us that fourth quarter difference.
Yes.
Every game, which is very different and very real. But as a team, we don't still make the plays that are out there enough. Because
USC's next drive will just hammer through the end of the game here. Here comes the flea flicker.
Yeah.
Great call. And boy, they sold it for a long time, didn't they?
Still kind of covered it. Right. They made a great play. They made a great throw, great catch. It was covered not terribly.
No, it wasn't like, I mean, you expected, let's be honest, when they flipped it back to Mayava and they threw it, you expected, as the camera panned, for a USC guy to be behind the defense and no one there. And so Nebraska defended it well, still great throw, great catch, 43-yard gain. There's a pass interference on Singleton in the end zone where he just like bear hugs the guy.
That's a bad interference too, because you're in zone, right? Like somebody's crossing. That's a really bad, because was that third down too? I thought that was third down.
Might have been. And
that's a huge mistake by him, because you're not even in a man getting beat. You're sitting in a zone, and like,
according to this, a 3rd and 1, they got a quarterback sneak for a first down. And then on 1st and 10 at the 21, that's when the penalty happened. Yeah. And so it's 1st and goal at the 6, and King Miller goes off tackle and just walks into the end zone.
I mean, it just.
And so now it's 21-17. Nebraska comes back onto the field. On 3rd and long, they run the quarterback draw, and they stunted right into Latif. Blackledge brought that up. They run the quarterback draw, and they literally.
We didn't pass it off. So this is one of my frustrations. Yeah. So we seemingly never, like on these rushes, we always are too soft, and we don't set far enough out usually, right? And we get beat. We just get beat around the edge. We get it's just too soft always. The one time we want to be soft and let them run out, or if they want to stunt in, we'll be slow on it and catch it. We overset hard, and because there's no one we want them to get around us.
Right. You want them upfield and get up.
Spindler, why are you jumping way out? Just ride whoever's there, and just, so I guess I'm frustrated because when we need to set hard out better, we don't do it. And the one time that we can just be lazy and let him run up the field around you, or in that case, he comes in you're letting your other guy go, and it should be an easier pass off for Spindler and Cochran. And I'm just like, I know. It drives me crazy. And then
stunts directly into Latif.
And Latif was a little quick, right. It didn't matter. We didn't pass it off, where that should have been an easy pickup. But that's where this O-line, they take turns
making little mistakes like that.
And those add up. We just have to be better across the line in our consistency. You're going to have some holds, you're going to have some mistakes, but consistently, we need consistency across the line to go up as a unit. And you're going to see big effects for the team if we can just more consistent across every one of those guys.
So this is where, again, tip your cap to the defense. They forced a punt.
Yeah.
They force a punt, but tip your cap to the USC punter. Holy just sticks it at the 4.
Yeah.
So now Nebraska trots out TJ Latif, 21-17, with 3:27 left with 1 timeout. Got to go 96 yards.
This is where those timeouts hurt us, because
100%.
We burned that first minute. It felt like play.
It felt like, they ran 3 plays. They run Emmett up the middle for 4. They run play action. Latif scrambles up the middle for a first down. They run Emmett for another 5 yards, and then it's a 2-minute warning.
And this is where it's tough, because we felt like we had to be pretty safe, and so we're handing it, which is not terrible in those moments when you're so pinned back. You got a freshman quarterback, but like I said, you don't got timeouts. So we got to what yard line, and we're on the
20. You're at the 23-yard line. And it's a 2-minute warning. You have 1 timeout left.
That's right.
You got a long ways to go.
Yep.
You got a long ways to go. Yada, yada, yada. Here comes the final play of the game. Emmett Johnson, TJ Latif, 4th and 1. And Emmett Johnson, in the most fitting way to end the game, Emmett Johnson trips, gets tangled up with Latif's knee or leg or whatever.
And that just comes from not being comfortable with, the guy handing you the ball. It's there's a comfort that it probably wouldn't have happened with Dylan. It happened with Latif because it just feels like everything's off. Snap count, handoff style, it's all.
I know it sounds weird, but every handoff thing, everybody's a little different.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you Latif's done that handoff with Quentin Ives and Mekhi Nelson and Mosey a lot.
Yeah.
He hasn't done a lot with Emmett. And everything's a little different, but in the most fitting way for a program that just can't get out of its own way. They can't get out of each other's way.
It looked like there's room to.
I think Emmett was going to pick it up. Now, based on how that drive was going, I'm not sure what would have happened, but hey, you never know.
We had to score too, which is I don't know that we get in the end zone.
I doubt they do, but there it is. Ball game. USC wins 21-17.
Yeah.
Okay. That was my attempt at choosing the big moments and sequences, but you handled that perfectly because awesome. you elaborated on a handful of things. After walking through it and talking it out one more time, any more thoughts on kind of like, are you willing, the whole Dylan and Pritchett are hurt? Like, do you have I mean, I feel like you can hold two thoughts at once.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. So you can't say,
man, you got.
You can't say. I mean, I think it's okay to say things would have been different with Dylan because, of course, they would have been different. But like the reality is, we've lost 29 in a row. So like you're not like 90% sure we're going to win.
That's what I said earlier. Like, what evidence do you have that you were going to win that game? Much.
It's different, but like it's still, we haven't proven yet that we have turned the corner. Because once we turn the corner, we'll be able to say if Dylan was in, we would win. And we'd feel 100% confident about that. Right now, we're still in that phase where, like in these big games, we just don't know.
You just don't know. And so I think you can hold two thoughts at once. Yes, obviously, you lose your starting quarterback. You're already decimated at tackle, a position that has struggled anyways, and you lose probably your most talented tackle. Yeah. Yes, that's going to make a difference. I never loved the next man up. Like, well, when the man in front of the man is way better than the first guy, it's going to make a difference. But at the same time, like, you had opportunities to win that game, even with Dylan out and without Pritchett out. So unfortunate, with a couple of things before we get to Peerless. We talked a little bit about it, but the defense, how do we, when the dust settles, how do we, that's one of the top offenses in the country, held them to 21 points. We've talked about this. But USC had 13 explosive plays. Explosive plays are runs of 10 or more, or passes for 15 or more. USC had 10 runs of 10 or more yards and 3 passes of 15 or more yards. But 21 point, like, I actually felt like, I don't know. I feel like in a weird way, I walked away from I think I was always a little like, is the number one pass defense thing a little misleading because they played a lot of shaky passers, especially when I think about the Maryland QB kind of was able to throw the ball on him a little bit. I feel like one of the things I learned from this game, I walked away being like, you know what, John Butler and Andrew Marshall and Sayir Wright and like that whole group, that's not a bad picture right there. Pretty good.
Yeah, I would say my issue with our defense still is a little bit more the front seven. I just don't feel like our front seven.
They're not even close. They're not. I mean, you can't give up 200 yards running.
Yeah, I just feel like there's just a little. It's like a lot of it's just like physically they're just not quite there. Sans Winery, who I don't know if you saw the one play where he split a double team.
Yes,
and that was like a moment where I go, okay, this guy, he's our one guy that's a guy. Yeah. Like he's not there yet as a football player, but that was a play where he
split a double
it all
team
together because his technique was phenomenal, which means that like that's just like it's like you do the thing you're coached to do right, and then like threw it and then made the play. I go, that's a big time play.
Yep.
That not many people on earth do right.
Right.
That he could do. So there's a bright future with that guy. He's the one guy I'm like, that guy's different. But he's not there yet. He hasn't put it all together every play. But that play showed me that guy's got some special traits. And everybody else, I'm like, I just don't know that they're top tier Big Ten quality.
At least for now.
Yeah, because then with what Butler wants to do, he wants to be able to play cat and mouse with stopping the, sort of that pro style, what they do in the pros. But you got to have some horses up front to do it. Our interior line's not there for sure. You got Winery, you got a couple guys that are nice with some potential. Like Petschok maybe has some potential, but I also just don't know that we got like the real guy. So I think that's going to be, and same way with linebacker, I just feel like we're not like, I thought the USC linebackers, you see those guys move, those guys were impressive athletes. Yeah. I think that's the difference. Like they were flying around, and you weren't getting away from them.
Agreed.
Where I feel like we're just at times a little slow to attack there. So I think
there's still a long ways to go.
There's a long ways to go, but like I felt like our defense though were at least playing aggressive. Like it wasn't like Minnesota or a few of those games where I felt like we were catching. I feel like we were at least trying to attack.
Right.
Which I want to give them credit for that, and just the whole team for making USC play our game. That was a big step for our team in a loss. Still trying to find a positive. That would probably be it.
I agree, but there's no doubt. And what's frustrating is Nebraska's not there in the trenches defensively. And what's frustrating is it felt like they were there the last 2 years.
Yeah, we did.
And so it's, again, like we've said a million times, like, man, you take this team and I'd add Bullock too. Bullock, Ty, Nash.
Bullock, Ty, and Nash make this
whole
really good defense.
Oh, baby. Offensively, we kind of got on it. I mean, this offense is in a weird place right now. Who knows what Dylan's status is going to be, but it's the third straight game under 300 total yards. Four of the last 5, Nebraska has less than 300 total yards. The downfield passing game is just kind of like now some of it was a product of the USC guys smothering, and the only thing they could do but it just feels like any ball down the field is just a one-on-one go route fade, and you're hoping that Key or Hunter make a all-world 50-50 grab, or you get a PI.
Yeah.
And now, because the thing that's hard is, let's not act like Dylan was lighting it up before he got hurt. He only had 91 yards passing at that point. But it just, again, like the analogy I use, Holgerson's just like the training wheels are on with this offense right now because of that, because of the offensive line.
That's right.
You want to do Peerless?
Let's do it.
Before we get to Peerless, I want to talk about Pella Windows and Doors. It's so surreal when I'm sitting there watching a Husker game, and then all of a sudden me on a Pella commercial pops up, and I just like, I love it. I love it so much. The Pella commercial pops up because I love the folks with Pella, Debbie, Vince, the whole crew. If you are in need of some new windows, new door, whatever, get your journey started with Pella. Take it from me, someone that actually has worked with Pella, and they have done work on my home. I've gone through the entire process. I've seen the showroom. I've seen like their factory where they do all their different things. It's really, really an impressive place. And I'm really impressed with the work they did on my home. Showrooms, Omaha and Lincoln, or go to PellaOmaha.com. PellaOmaha.com. Okay. Peerless Energy Systems MVP top performer. I mean, are we going to be like, in a loss, it's always hard to give it to. Is there anybody that you felt like, I guess, just what stands out?
Emmett, he had a nice night. He took a lot of touches, which we were hoping to see, and he delivered. I thought he had 156,
he had
60?
29 carries, 165 yards.
165 yards. I felt like he was tough. Unfortunately, he slipped on that last play, but like I said, I think that was partly from a new quarterback, and but I'd say Emmett's probably the obvious candidate to start with, and then
I wrote
Andrew
down
Marshall.
Andrew Marshall was I wrote down Emmett, Andrew Marshall, and then on the USC side of things, I wrote down their O-line, and then I also, in a weird way, even though for most of the game he was, I thought, maddening. Lincoln Riley stunk for most of the game, but he had 4 great calls. He had the 2 zone read keepers from Mayav on the scoring drive to tie the game, the 2-point conversion, direct snap running back, fake reverse, King Miller goes in, and then the flea flicker. Yeah. So I was tempted also there. But you know what? We've been kind of stingy with Emmett.
Yeah, I think he even elevated another level.
This is against USC.
Delivering. Yeah, he's delivering.
USC can't tackle him. Yeah. Okay. Like, he's making guys miss. You saw some of the PFF grades they had about missed tackles and all that stuff. Like, this guy, you know what else I like too? And you're not really like this, but I kind of was, and you can attest to it. I was one of those guys that almost every time I lost, I cried. Yeah. You see him on the sidelines. They showed him on the sidelines. He had his helmet on, and he was clearly sobbing. And I just, like, not to go all like, that's the kind of guy he's all in, but like, Emmett, is there anybody?
You were a crier, and I always when you were crying, I was like, get over there. Okay. I wasn't ever comfort you very much.
No, like, I wasn't necessarily looking for any comfort, but like that's, but you couldn't be, you are Never a crier.
No.
I didn't cry in college until the only time I cried in college was my final game in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament my senior year when we lost in the semis and I knew we weren't going to the NCAA tournament, where that was kind of like, we ended up going to the NIT, but that I remember but so I grew up in college, if you need to know, but in high school, your boy was crying after every single loss. We didn't lose very much though.
That's right.
But Emmett, I guess I'm just saying, like, I want to give it to Emmett because of just like, there's just
we're not giving Lincoln Riley. This is Nebraska.
And
podcast.
Lincoln Riley sucked for most that night.
They scored 21 points. I just didn't think they were sharp. I don't think we can give it to Lincoln Riley because they weren't sharp. I didn't feel like for most of that game.
So we got to get to Emmett. I mean, just what a man.
He's the guy right now. He's the guy. He is playing, like they said, like Holgerson basically said, like, he's even better than I thought he could be.
Right.
You know, it's like Holgerson saw a lot in him, not even what he is. And that's the point. Like, he is.
Well, I think that's what we've been even
all expectations.
We felt like that he was kind of like, he's okay. Man, he is just.
What a better story, though, than the guy that's got, you know, the number one recruit who's got all the talent in the world versus, or the guy that's like, you know, like, he's kind of overlooked. He was Mr. Football
in Minnesota,
but like, he wasn't that highly recruited.
No.
I feel like he was more of like a guy. They're like, well, he's maybe too small, and I don't know if he's good enough or fast enough, or like. And even this year, we're like, oh, he's just not that. You know, we still do it to him, and he's a really good football player.
It's easy to fall in love with a tough, good running back, and I think all of Nebraska has just kind of fallen madly in love with him.
He's exceeding expectations, and people love him.
And he's tough, and he's durable, and he runs hard, and he gets hit hard, and he gets up, and he just, I don't know.
Plays with passion,
and that's kind of what I'm getting at with the crying thing of just from the way he actually plays to the emotions that he was wearing on it. Our own Tom Rinaldi has more with Emmett Johnson.
Like, Nick loves a crier. Just loves a crier. Come on, people. This guy loves a crier.
Doesn't take much to make me cry, man. It doesn't take much.
You did watch The Notebook, didn't you?
I did. I cried watching The Notebook bad at the end of it.
I'll tell you what. This is the difference between me 10 years ago.
Do movies get you going?
They're starting to.
Oh, what's going on with you?
I just am getting older, and I'm starting.
Kids?
I watch Homeward Bound. I about broke down twice.
When Shadow,
when the old dog came over.
Shadow came trotting back. Came trotting back.
Or I think the little girl was lost in the forest. I think you have little kids, and they finally announced it's like, me and my wife were like,
see, I'm the kind of guy that like,
hold it back.
It doesn't. I mean, like a
sunset,
a commercial can get me like, hang in there, man. It doesn't take much. I am like, I don't know. Maybe I got some issues underneath, but like, it doesn't take much to make me cry. Okay.
I love it.
Emmett Johnson made me cry, and that's why he's the Peerless Energy Systems MVP. Peerless Energy Systems is the authorized Sullair distributor for Nebraska and Iowa. Sullair is the leading American manufacturer for air compressor and ancillary compressed air equipment. Make sure you go to peerlessenergy.com for all your air compressor needs. Shouts out to Peerless Energy Systems, and shouts out to Emmett Johnson. Okay, that should do it, man. Hour and 13 minutes.
Okay. Well,
you want to go?
Let's go watch The Notebook and see if we can't cry.
Okay, let's
see it.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.